what's up, guys?
What's up, guys? Back
Hey,
again with another episode of Four Flat Flam podcast. Four Flat Flam.
No, when we talk about politics, people would be like, "Oh, these guys are always talking about politics. Nothing else to talk about, or what?"
Yeah.
Then I mean, what should we tell these people?
No, usually people, when you talk about politics, they will think that you have a side you chose, and you can't be non-partisan. Means that you can be actually neutral. So, like, yeah, I think politics should be embraced by everyone. It's a topic that everyone should talk about.
And I think like politics should just be about the facts, like who does better, what is happening, and that's exactly what we're going to discuss about today, right?
Yeah. And who will we discuss it with?
Today we'll have our friend from Indonesia. His name is Fayez Adesta, and last time he hosted a forum with his core society, which is Law Student Society in IUM, on Malaysian politics also. So we think that it would be wise from us to invite him to join our discussion for today. And as the topic today is state of Malaysian politics, we present to you Fayez Adesta. Woo! Bro, you're like,
Hi. Yo, it's
Hey,
I'm not used to being introduced, so sorry if it's if it was an awkward introduction. Politics is a very important aspect in life, as in they are the one who make laws, and then they will be determining not even some, maybe most of our future. So we as youngsters, we need to be involved in politics. That's when I realized that okay, politics is important, although the stereotype of it being dirty and on, what was inspiring is that because it did not have any casualties, all transitions all over the world, including Indonesia, bloodshed was everywhere, and then some countries in the African region as well. Malaysia, there's no bloodshed. It is almost a peaceful transition. However, I regret that people see it as a way to just decline or reject Datuk Seri Najib. So they maybe they kind of overpromise in the GE14, and that's what led to the third part of our discussion, the Langkah Sheraton. It started with the internal conflict inside Pakatan and not Parti Keadilan Rakyat (PKR). So it was, a betrayal by this bunch of people, and one of the solution to it, I think, it's to enact anti-hopping law as soon as possible. So politicians does not just hop here and there to, oh, if this bring benefit to me, then I will just go to party A or party B. No, there should be a loyalty towards the people's trust.
True.
To me, sorry, Rafi, the way I see it, right? People simply voted PH because they were not BN. I believe that if BN were to change their, say, head, so that means even if BN wins, but they will change their prime minister, I think the result might be different because if I'm not mistaken, there's a mini election, right? One year after the general election, right? And it showed the result that the BN won by quite a lot, which would indicate that people still have trust in BN. So maybe the issue was Najib being the leader is that people do not support the idea of that.
to say that the manifesto book is not a holy book. Probably it is not something that is very much. I mean, people are not fan of that because people vote maybe okay, like Rafiki said about toppling Najib, but also people will look at your manifesto and will be begging for you to deliver your promises lah. And so I think that is the difference between the government which has been the government for a long time and the government which has not been a government, because they are still still finding the rhythm and still thinking whether, I mean, they will think about the manifesto after they win. So that is why that is the problem in the
The
transition.
typical politician lah kan.
Yes, I mean you promise first, then you'll think later. So
But then they are the ones who needs to run the government. So it needs a couple of time. Not 1 year and 10 months is not enough time lah, for you to fulfill a manifesto that was supposed to be fulfilled in 5 years time.
True, true.
So I cannot say it's a betrayal of the trust of the people, but it's unfair for the Pakatan Harapan government to be, to only be given a short amount of time.
True. I've been to economic talk by Dr. Muhammad Khalid. He's the economic advisor of Tun Dr. Mahathir. So he's been saying that the Pakatan Harapan government actually needs time. Like what he mentioned, the economy is back on track, but like it's not as fast as he would like it to be. So I mean it does progress because like 60 years of the same BN and maybe UMNO government. So you feel like this new transition it takes time because these people they never hold a position in the government before, because
Exactly.
before this like only the winning party is only BN and BN. So like we need to give them time to maybe make the sentiment of maybe the Pakatan Harapan government go better or not. Yeah. We have seen a lot of volatile things happening because most of my economic forums that I went, they tell us that to see the economy, you have to see the top 30, GLC or top 30 companies in the country. So these few years, there's been a few buying shares. There's been a few taking care of some of the company in absorbing or like merging into some other company. So you can see that some of it is political and some of it is also economical. And I think based on like the condition, we were actually doing okay before, projected by the IMF. We're actually having an increase of maybe 15 to 20% of our GDP. But then came COVID-19, we cannot go to the projected increase. Yeah.
changing changes by the PH government, we could see one of the major changes was the lowering of voting age for the general election from 21 to 18 years old. Before we proceed to that, I would like to ask Fayez, how old? I mean, what is the voting age for Indonesian?
Indonesia 17.
Oh,
Ooh.
shit. We gotta step up, guys.
Wow.
17.
Indonesian needs to
And
step up.
and sorry to say, it's not a good thing.
Oh.
Money politics is still a lot going in Indonesia,
Mm.
and you can just buy a vote. So you having this power to vote for your ideal leader with the age of 17, but the political system and the education system itself is not matured, it will just bring it to a worse turmoil. And then what's the difference between Dewan Undangan Negeri and Dewan Rakyat? Sorry, sad to hear that 80% of them do not know what is the difference. And
Mm.
those 15-year-old kids will be voting in GE 15. And you giving them this power to, okay, vote for the leader or vote for your representative. That if they're not ready, then it is not a good thing.
I think that if you reduce the age to 18, I think it can lead to manipulation of sentiments. Because like for me, I think when you're lower in age, it's easier for you to manipulate these thoughts of youngsters, or maybe some people they don't know, like maybe inside IIUM themselves, like when you have a general election for your kuliah or something, they don't even know like who are you and who are they voting. They just based on looking at your face when they're in the voting board. So like these people, like we don't have the sense to these people don't want to have the necessary knowledge to, because they don't think that those will affect them, because they think that we're young and things like that. I think that's in my opinion too.
Yeah, that's why awareness is really important also. Vote sentiment, no doubt, GE 15 will be a full sentiment political race. Anas was with me when YB Khairi Jamaluddin, the current Mufti minister, give talk. He said that, I quote in verbatim, elections results of pilihan raya kecil does not determine the outcome of GE15, but it surely does determine the political climate of GE15. So he himself know that it will be a race or race sentimental game, and we need to prepare the youngsters for that lah. Political knowledge in mediums like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, it would be great. What is even better is that if it's inserted in the curriculum of the high school.
From the grassroots community, from school, because from school then they can learn something that is formal, because we don't need to teach about, like, we can teach about party politics and stuff, but we need to teach them about the structure of the government first, why, what is the importance of voting, because they are determining their own future. The reason that they lowered the voting age from 21 to 18 is for the 18 and 21 years old people that are in that gap to determine their future, because they are they will play a big and important role in the society in the future lah.
So
If you see, it doesn't make sense, because in the Senate, that is where the only place where you could have every representative, because in Dewan Rakyat everyone could run, and it won't be like, there won't be a quota, special quota for women, special quota for disabled. But for Dewan Negara, for the Senate, you could have equal representation from each state, equal representation from the disabled, from the orang asli community, and also, but there's no representative for the youth, because the minimum of the senator age is 30 right now.
30. But that's actually what's happening in Indonesia. The youngsters are running simply because they're rich and they hold position. But then again, you cannot stop them from running. What you can do is occupy the youth or the voters to make them realize that, okay, money politics is not the right thing, and you should actually see their manifesto, what they want to give to the people.
instead of doing very privileged policies, get them to be more have them to have more interactions between lower members of the community, things that can benefit all instead of a specific group of individuals from their block. I think that might change things a bit.
True, true. I think like if you want people to realize that actually in politics right now, everyone have the power to change, not just like select few people. So like people don't realize that everyone has the maybe the responsibility and the power to actually change the government. So when you actually like when you don't treat your vote as something that matters, it you know you just enable these people like these corrupt or maybe these bad people to stay in power. So if you like see these people not doing their job and you exercise your right as a voter, you can put these people out of the the loop. So like I think the voter play a huge role to maintain a clean political scene. And like if the politician sees that the voter actually holds them accountable, like maybe you did promise us these things when you come into power but you did not fulfill it, and we should just throw you out because you did not do what you supposed to do. I think that's one of the things that are the challenge also. These people that call undi rosak, like they just don't undi, or like they undi, they do their vote, but
They
then they do it.
purposely
Yeah,
salahkan vote bukan ya.
I think they're irresponsible. Like it's your vote, like it's your right. You can do what
Yeah.
you want.
I'm not an expert, but because I hosted the forum the other day, but it started after Tun Mahathir's sudden resignation. Why is it unquote and unquote? Is because we don't know actually the game inside the Lancashire town itself. Because there were a couple of speculations that the one who was leading Perikatan Nasional will be Tun Mahathir himself. But then suddenly there was a news of him saying that he doesn't want to work with the UMNO people, the kleptocrats. And then Pakatan Harapan switch from Anwar Ibrahim back to Tun Mahathir. And then only Perikatan Nasional, okay, they're giving up the name of Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin. And people, for example, the foreign media is blaming the YDPA. No, it's not the YDPA's fault at all. The YDPA was conducting interviews. I think it was the first time in 6 years. And
Federal level, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
after a couple of interviews, all right, then the YDPA chose Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin. If they want to change the names over and over again, then when will this ever end? It was the firm decision of the YDPA simply because the politicians were playing, I don't know what kind of game they were playing because they were changing
Yeah.
names. Okay, I want to. Oh no, I want Anwar Ibrahim. Oh no, I want Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin. The Pakatan Harapan claiming that they have 114 seats. It can be it can be claimed by anyone, but whether it is true or not, we don't know. That's why we need, if they think that they have the majority, then table the vote of no confidence. But can the vote of no confidence be tabled when parliament is only one day? That's another issue.
Maybe the
It
government.
it can go both ways because politics is very unpredictable. But most probably, they will stay simply because
Mm.
the cabinet is it's a thick cabinet. You have four de facto deputy prime minister. You can call it senior minister, minister mentor, deputy prime minister, but it is in the same level of deputy prime ministers. Anas, do you know what's the name of deputy minister of health?
I know one only, man.
Exactly. You.
I
But
forgot his name. I mean, he was famous for like a week before because
because
he
he got fined, right?
yeah.
Exactly.
Perak guy, is it?
That
Aiyo.
that's the reason for a parliamentary sitting to be held.
Where whatever decision that is being made is purely for the benefit of the people during this dire need of time, because when a government is only one-sided, that is not a democracy. I mean, that's not the democracy that they have been fighting before.
Especially for
No,
politics.
look, we have a minister of law and parliament. So what is the use of that particular minister?
YDPA, of course, under advice of the prime minister, they can extend the parliamentary sitting late 6 months.
Because it
I,
seems like there's no check and balance at all currently.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
like maybe what's the power of the opposition during this COVID-19 time? What can they do to actually check and balance with the government?
Without parliamentary sitting,
Yeah.
think
Twitter, bro, Twitter.
Then just
yeah.
quote RT.
I think it is important that we take care of the general public by making sure that there's as less movement as possible, as less public gathering as possible. Um, However, we have to think it's been like 2 months already since the MCO, and then we have to remember for those who MCO, yeah, and then for those who already forgo their business in order to comply with the MCO restriction. Just imagine how much burden are put upon their expenses.
At the fourth quarter, the end of the year, or maybe the early 2021 to actually bounce back from our economic recession. So that's why I think that the lifting the ban of the MCO is rational, but I think you should provide more context towards providing, the how is it going to be the SOP, and of course, and because if you just do policy by your own self, you yeah, in Malay we call it short sendiri, like don't have anything to counter your policy.
SOPs that are still unclear, and as Rafiq said, I think it should have been a soft landing. As an, I mean, probably the government has other strategy, but for me, soft landing of the exit plan from MCO should be done instead of this urgent landing of the exit plan, I think.
Yeah. Second is why nations fail. It's related to economics, so I think I want to review it with you, Rafiq and Rafiki. Oh
Oh,
God.
uh,
What
Wait,
about
is that
me?
economics?
Yeah, it's an
yeah.
economic book.
It's a
But
good
it's an
book.
economic book, right? It is a
Sure.
good
Yeah.
book. Kari
Team
lah.
bawang ke team
Kari,
kari?
kari.
Yo! Have you ever tried bawang? Have you?
Yeah, but I like both, to be honest. I'm a foodie, but
The red
I
one,
think
yeah.
murtabak,
Yeah,
yeah,
good one.
murtabak suits more with curry compared to bawang.
Alhamdulillah, you are very wise.
What lah?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.